Hey everybody, Stay with FoamBot. I have a very unique two-cannon foam party for you today. This one was run by volunteers at our school's PTA. Effectively, this was a little bit of a hybrid between a delivery and full service because we actually did set it up for them. Normally, we do not set up our rentals. If you'd like to learn about how we do rentals in terms of people picking them up from us at our warehouse and going and doing the party themselves, or if we deliver it to a daycare, for example, and they do the party themselves, versus full service where we do everything, you can go to foampartyraleigh.com/Foam Universe 2026. It's a little bit of a mouthful. It's from the last Foam Universe talk that we gave, but it's available there. We have every single thing that you need to do rentals, every single part that you need, everything you need to know about the cannons, how to maintain the cannons, how to communicate with the customer, make sure that they actually show up on time, that they understand how you're going to do delivery, all of the ins and outs of how to do rentals correctly. Because if all you do is put on your website, hey, I have a rental, and then you have a customer show up, you're gonna have a whole lot of problems. So in there, we've built videos for you. We've done everything that you literally need to start selling rentals on your website tomorrow and to do it successfully. That's all available there. As we go into the how-to part of this, you're gonna see the whole party being set up from start to finish. Whether you're using a large cannon or a stacker, it doesn't matter. The steps are exactly the same. The only note that I'll have for you is that we ended up not using a tent that you'll see on the ground. It just was overcast that day and decided not to use it. And also you'll see that there's like a little Y splitter with two hoses coming off of it. We use that sometimes for our rental two cannon parties, but it was not used in this particular situation. So you can pretty much just ignore that. Everything else is exactly as it is. If you've watched these videos, you notice that we do set up things a little bit differently each time. And so I do that on purpose, both for your sake as we do these videos, so that you can see that there's not one right way, that sometimes you just kind of have to figure out what the right thing is for your style, or how you're transporting the cannon, or where you're going, all sorts of things like that. But also so that you understand the concepts underlying what you're doing, rather than this is step A, I have to use exactly this barrel, this exact size, and use exactly this much solution. What you really need to understand is I can use anything just about as a water reservoir, and all I really need to do is make sure that I'm putting just enough solution in there to keep the concentration up, etc. So I want you to kind of understand those things rather than this is the exact thing that you have to use. Although, of course, we definitely do make some recommendations on gear that we use that we found useful, and that I think that you will find to be very useful as well. So let's get into it. So this is a unique situation because we have a PTA event today where we're actually allowing the volunteers to run the cannons for us. Essentially, we're renting them to our school. So anyway, we're going to show you how we set all this up and give you a, I guess, behind the scenes view of how you do it. And look there, there's two ladies that have never run a foam party before in their life, and they're having a blast and doing a great job. One of the first things you want to do is you want to plug in your ground fault pigtail. Doesn't matter if there's a ground fault on the outlet already or not. You want to do it for extra additional safety. There's no downside. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up water. So we usually keep all of our hoses inside of the trash can or whatever it is that we're using for a water bin that day. We use these 0G hoses. They're usually a lot more nicely wrapped in there. I think the last time they got thrown in there, they got a little tangled up, but they're not too bad to untangle. And they're pretty lightweight and they last a really long time. We also keep our pump and our hose in there. And for a two cannon party, I'll show you this in a second, but we usually use a splitter like this. Now tonight we don't really need this because we only have one trash can. So you'll see how that goes together in a minute. Party early because you're going to want to fill up your trash can early. Make sure you have one of these water keys with you because waiting around for someone to bring you theirs is going to be a total pain. Make sure that you open it all the way. Can't tell you how many times I've been like, man, the water pressure here is terrible. And it was, I just didn't spin it all the way around until it stops. We've already hooked up the water over here. And then we basically just found a place for our water bin. At the bottom there, we've got an on-off valve, the nice heavy one that we always talk about. All right, one thing to keep in mind when you're working with these collapsible style hoses is just make sure that you don't have any kinks in them. Sometimes you'll be like, why is there no water? And it's because there's kink. So we chose this location because the runoff is going to go downhill that way. We actually have been here before, so we know that it will run back onto you. You don't want to be at the bottom of the hill, you want to be at the top of the hill so that everything runs away from you. So we've got two speaker stands here for the cannons. Ashley's putting one on this one, there's going to be one on this side, so they're going to be on either side, feeding out of this barrel in the middle. The large can is not too bad. It only weighs about 30 pounds, so most people can lift it up pretty easily. If you can't, you can just tilt the stand down and then kind of lever it up. Normally we use the blue reel and we plug everything into that. We do have this kind of full service box that we've kind of pieced together. It just kind of has a bunch of random odds and ends that we use when we do full service. And it does have a power strip inside of it. No magic to it. We've just put it on the side just in case water gets in, that it doesn't, sit on top of it. 2 cannon party, you can use 1 sump pump. So this is a 6 horsepower standard one that comes with the Foam Daddy kits these days. Doesn't matter what the horsepower rating is, any of them will do just fine for 2. And then you just use a standard garden hose splitter thing. Make sure they're both open. And then we have 2 hoses to feed the cannons. Just putting the EV8s up on these speaker stands. These are great because they only weigh like 18 pounds. And personally, I feel like weight is everything when you do this, because even if you're strong, even if you have all the tools in the world to do it, it just sucks to bring it, long distances over time. Like if you think that it's not a big deal to set it up now, after you've done several hundred parties, you'll start to be like, yeah, you know what? Anything that saves weight and still brings a great experience, that's what I want to use. So that's why we use these. For the party, you're going to want to go ahead and put solution in. Usually on a 44 gallon, I put about a gallon in. You'll figure out the exact amount that you need for the type of barrel or the size of barrel that you use. But usually I like to go pretty heavy on the first batch. And you don't make it any stronger when you're using 2 cannons. It's the same thing. You don't need to like double the amount of solution or anything. You'll wind up using obviously more fluid, but you don't need to increase the concentration of the water in the barrel. You kind of have everything set up. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go and start cleaning up your stuff. So usually you take stuff, put it inside of bins, put stuff inside of bags, that kind of thing, just so you have a little bit less mess behind, both so it's not a tripping hazard for you, your staff, or whatever, and then also just because it looks a lot better to the client.